Hi guys, welcome to Linux YouTube channel. My name is Ram Mishra and I am your online instructor. So what's in this video? In this video I will tell you how to configure RDS in AWS Cloud Platform using Terraform. So guys, let's begin the topic. But before start the lab session, we have to understand few points, which is what is RDS and their types in AWS Cloud Provider. So basically RDS, which is known as Amazon Relational Database Services, is a collection of managed services that makes it simple to set up, operate and scale database in cloud. It provides cost-efficient and resizable capacity while managing time-consuming database administration tasks, freeing you up to the focus on your application and business. So currently we have 7 popular engines are available in AWS Cloud Platform, like Amazon Aurora with MySQL compatible, Amazon Aurora with PostgreSQL, MSQL, MariaDb, PostgreSQL, Oracle and SQL Server. So we can choose anyone as per need of the organization and deploy on premises with a Amazon RDS. So in this demonstration, I will show you how to configure MariaDb database on AWS Cloud Platform using Terraform. So let's begin the lab session. Guys, this is my Linux terminal and currently I am using RHEL 9. So let me show the OS release version first. So you can see that currently I am using RHEL 9.0 and this is my base machine where I have installed my Terraform IAC tool. Let me check the version first. See, it's version 1.2.8. So let me create the new folder for that Terraform project. So mkdir project 1. Name could be anything, choice up to you. Now I'm going to open my Visual Studio Code software for configuring and deploying Terraform configuration file. So I have the command vs code. Okay, here it is. So guys, you can see that this is my Visual Studio Code software, and let me close the thing. Okay, let me make it large for you. Okay, sound good. So now currently I am in my project directory. Let me open this one. Okay, and you can see that currently I don't have any configuration file. So start with the first step, which is create provider file. So I'm going to create a provider file for AWS Cloud Provider, and I will also define the region where I want to deploy my resource. So in my case, I'm going to launch my resource in North California region on AWS platform. So I create a file and put a few entries. Let's see. So right click, make new file, provider.tf. Name could be anything, but extension should be always .tf file. So let me add entry provider. In my case, the provider is AWS. Then region, in my case I go with US-West-1. Okay, that's sufficient. Now I'm going to press Ctrl S for save the entry, and now I run the Terraform init command. Let me open the terminal. Okay, run Terraform init. Start, initialize the backend, initializing provider plugins. So basically this command will initialize the current working directory and containing Terraform configuration file and install any required plugins. So whenever you run the Terraform init command, any plugins required such as the AWS Cloud Provider are automatically downloaded and saved locally into the .terraform directory. So you can see that under my project 1 directory, here I have one more hidden directory called .terraform directory where required plugins are stored. Okay, so now we have initialized our code with the providers, and now we can define resources. So move to the next step, which is create resource file. So let me close the terminal. Okay, I'm back on my project 1 directory. So for this demonstration, I'm going to create 3 resource file with one data resource file. First resource would be my data source file, from where I can fetch out my existing VPC ID and use that ID in the another resource file for creation new resources. Second resource would be my security group. A security group acts as a virtual firewall for my RDS instance to control my inbound and outbound traffic. Third resource would be my EC2 instance, from where I can log in and configure my MariaDb database services. And final resource would be my DB instances that will launch AWS RDS instance with the few given values. So for the time saving purpose, I have write down all the code in my document file. Otherwise video will be very long. So let me copy from there and paste it here. As soon as I will create the resource file, I will explain all the terms. So I'm going to start the first resource file, which is my data source file. So name could be anything, but the extension should be always .tf. But I follow the standard format where I mention the file name as it used for its desired purpose. So again, go with the right click, new file, data source.tf. Okay. So here I will fetch out my existing VPC ID and use that ID in another resource file. So let me copy the code and paste it here. So here I have mentioned my code. Let me copy one by one, right click and paste. Okay, now here's the code. I'm going to explain all of each and every line. So here I start a data source with data block, this one. Okay, and then I use AWS_VPC, which provide details about my data source, that is VPC. Then I define identical name, that is testing. It could be anything, choice up to you, but should be unique in the configuration file. Then I use default, that means default is equal to true. It is optional, but it is a boolean value constraint on whether the desired VPC is default VPC for this reason. So I gonna go with my default VPC. Even if you have the option, you have n number of VPC available in your region, you can use filter option and go with the desired one. Then in the next line I use output block. This is my output block to just print my VPC ID during the Terraform apply or plan command. So for this I use value parameter. So I am using the output name, it could be anything, and then I use value parameter where I have mentioned print the value from the data source. First of all, this is the data source, then this is my data source name, then the identical logical name, that is testing, and then finally attribute, which is ID in my case. So first of all data, then AWS_VPC, then .testing, and then ID. So finally from this configuration file I am fetching my default VPC entry from my North California region, and through output value I'm getting sure that I'm using the right VPC ID. Later on I will take the reference of this value entry in my other resource file. So now I'm moving to the second resource file, which is security group. So let me say okay. Now again go to the new file, security group. So I say sg.tf file this time. Okay, so let me copy the entry one more time for the security group block. Here's my security group code. Let me copy the entry, okay, paste it here. Okay, so I start with the resource block with the AWS_security_group resource, and identical name is right now I have mentioned allow_MariaDb, could be anything but should be unique. And then I mentioned security group name, which is prod-MariaDB-RDS-SG, could be anything. And then I define the description, which is allow inbound traffic. Then I use VPC ID is equal to data.aws_vpc.testing.id. This is here I call my data source VPC ID and that a default VPC. My security group will be created. And then I use ingress rule for two ports. One for 22, here it is, second one is 3306. So allow incoming traffic from 22, which is SSH, and second one is 3306 for MariaDB. And under CIDR block I use allow all traffic from default network path, which is 0.0.0.0/0. Then finally I define the egress rule. If I scroll down a little bit, here it is my egress rule. I allow all traffic from all net where I have defined the default allowed rule for the all outgoing traffic. And then at least I use tag name, that is allow access to the prod MariaDB RDS. So this resource file would create my security group under default VPC with allowing incoming traffic from two different ports, which is 22 and 3306. So let me save and quit from here. Okay, now let's move to the another resource file, my third resource file, which is for EC2 instance. So again I make a new file for EC2 instance, right click, new file, ec2.tf. okay, here it is. So let me copy the code for EC2 instance also. Let me explain the entry. Here I started with the resource block, my resource block. This time it is AWS underscore instance and logical name is Linux. Then I go with the AMI ID. This AMI ID is available in my North California region. Here I am using Amazon Linux. You can go with anyone. And then I go with the default T2 macro. It is under free tier account. And in the next line I define key name. In my case I am using existing key pair. You can go with anyone. And then I define the security group with the security group name. This instance will launch with this security group, which I have already defined in my SD configuration file. So prod-mariadb under -rds-sg, you can see if I go to the sd.tf file, my security group name is the same. Look at that, prod-mariadb-rds-sg. Okay, so I'm back on my EC2 file. Then I mention user data field. So user data field with the EOF means end of frame. So this is used to install MariaDb package under newly created instance, and finally assign a tag name, that is production one. So this file will create a new instance with MariaDB package for client utility, and it will be attached with my defined security group, whatever I have defined in my sd.tf file. Now finally move to the last resource file, which is db instance. So let me save and quit from here and create last one, that is, let me go with RDS Terraform. Okay, let me copy the entry for RDS also from my document file. Okay, paste it. Okay, let's start the entry. So here I start with the resource block and define the resource. This time it is AWS underscore DB underscore instance, and the identical logical name is RDS, could be anything. Then I go with the engine. That is an important point. Engine, the database engine to use. In my case, I'm using MariaDB. This is a required field. Then engine -version. This is optional. The engine version is to use. Currently, I'm using 10.6.8. Then I use instance class. This one, db.t3.micro. So this is required. This instance type of RDS instance, and then I use a DB name, it is Ram DB. So database name which is going to be automatically created under this instance. In my case I'm using Ram DB, could be anything. Then I use identifier, the name of the RDS instance. So this is database 1. So if omitted, the Terraform will assign a random and unique identifier. So here I have mentioned database 1. Then I use allocated -storage. So the amount of allocated storage is whatever you want to assign. So here I am assigning 20 GB. Then storage type, this is optional, one of the standard, that is magnetic. Then you can go with the GP2 general purpose SSD or IO1 programmized IOPS SSD. So I go with the GP2. Then finally I mention the username in the password field. The username is required for access the database server. Then I mention the publicly underscore accessible is equal to true, and skip final snapshot is equal to true. So publicly accessible, it's basically control if the instance is publicly accessible or not. By default it is false, so I go with the true one because I want access from the publicly account. Then I use skip underscore final underscore snapshot. It determines whether a final DB snapshot is created before the DB instance is deleted. If true, it's specified no DB snapshot is created, so I don't need snap for my RDS. So that's why I go with the true one. And then I go with the VPC underscore security underscore group underscore IDS, list of the VPC security group to associate this RDS instance. In my case, I go with my security group resource ID, AWS security group dot allow mariadb.id. Here it is the entry. Let me show you one more time. AWS underscore security underscore group dot allow underscore mariadb.id. Okay, and then finally I use a tag name which is RDS server instance, could be anything. So guys, this is all about 3 resource file and 1 data source file. Now let me save and quit from here, and let me open the terminal. Okay, let me make it large for you. Okay, now run the Terraform validate command for check the syntax error. So let me go with Terraform validate. Okay, all good. Now run the Terraform plan command for dry run first. So Terraform plan. Okay, plan 3. Okay, so now you can see that if I go with this plan, it will create 3 resources, and it also showing my VPC ID. Hey, this is my VPC ID. My output block is working perfectly. But before going to apply, let me show you my AWS console. So okay, let me refresh the screen. Okay guys, this is my AWS console, and currently I'm in North California region. You can see that from here. And if I open my EC2 dashboard and RDS, let me open the RDS also. So right click on the RDS. So currently I don't have any running instance, and if I click on the instance, okay, one is Ansible, so it is already terminated. Okay, it's all good. And if I go to the RDS side, let me check the DB instances. If I click on the database, you can check that no instance found. Okay, so currently I don't have anyone. So I'm back to on my terminal and finally run the Terraform apply command. Let's see what happened. So I'm back on my console and run the Terraform apply. Okay, it's reading. Enter the value. I said yes. Okay, it started creating. AWS security group.allow MariaDb is going to be creating instance.rds. okay, so looks all good. Just wait for 4 to 5 minutes to deploy these things. It's still creating, so we have to wait for a couple of minutes. Still creating. Okay, creation completed after 56 seconds. Here's the ID. Okay, still creating. Just wait for a couple of minutes. RDS will take time, so we have to wait. Still creating. Let me check from my AWS console. Yeah, see guys, look at that, instance is there. If I click on the instance running, hey, it is production 1. Okay, this is the tag name which I have mentioned in my ec2 .tf file. Let me check the RDS entry. Still creating. So if I refresh that one, if I click on my production server, okay, look at that, the security group name is prod-mariadb-rds.sg and the key name is new nc, which I have mentioned in my security group .tf file. Okay, still creating. Just wait for a minute. I'm not going to pause the video, let it be complete first. Let me check from the RDS also. I'm going to refresh the screen. Oh, here it is, database 1, and yeah, see, status is still going to be creating, you know? So we have to wait. So in my RDS dashboard, if I'm going to refresh, let me one more time for you. Okay, still creating. You can see that my database is database identified database -1, and size is instance type is db.t3.micro. This is the thing, whatever I have mentioned in my configuration file, all entries should match from my RDS.tf file. Okay, so let it be complete first, then I start working. Now see, apply completed, resources 3 added, 0 change, 0 destroy. So it successfully launched and all steps complete successfully. If I run Terraform state list, it will show me the all deployed sources list, like my VPC, my instance.rds, my instance.linux, as well as my security group. Okay, and if I go to my AWS console as well as RDS, now it's creating. Let me refresh the entry. See, it's available, it's ready to use. Similarly, if I go with the EC2 instance, refresh, see, it's alarm 2x2 check passed and it's running condition. So I can let me go on my RDS time to check. If I open this database -1, so from connectivity and security, under connectivity and security, here I have the endpoint. Okay, so I can use this endpoint and to access this RDS database from my EC2 instance. So let me connect to this EC2 instance first. Click select my EC2 instance, go to the connect. Okay, click on the connect, establishing a connection. Just wait for a second. Here I am. So log in with root privileges. Okay, let me check the OS version first, cat etc red hat release, or you can go with the OS release. See, it's Amazon Linux. Perfect. So let me connect with my RDS server. So I have command MySQL. It is come under that particular package, whatever package we have installed, using yum install MariaDb. -u username is, in my case, that is admin, and -p for port, and -h for the host. So host entry in my case is the database, the entire path, whatever the path is in endpoint. So right click and paste. Okay, enter the password. The password is red hat 123. Oops, perfect. I'm logged in. See, if I go to the my let me minimize the terminal. Let me show. See, here it is the mention. My username is admin, the password is red hat 123. Okay, let me check the database name, show databases. Perfect. See, RamDB, my database is ready. So if I check again from my Terraform configuration file, see, my DB name is RamDB. So guys, my RDS successfully deployed, and you can see that I can start the working on those things. So let me go to exit from here. I have checked that it's perfectly working fine. So guys, my RDS is successfully deployed with one EC2 instance under my security group. So this is all about this demonstration. Once you have done your lab, please do not forget to destroy all resources via using Terraform destroy command. So let me finally show the Terraform destroy command for you. So go with the Terraform destroy, press enter. It will destroy the all resources. So once you have done your lab and you are fully confident that you are not be going to use to anymore for the future purpose, you can go with the Terraform destroy command. It will remove all the resources, whatever resources you have created using Terraform. Okay, yeah, started. So guys, finally this is the end of this topic. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned new things. Soon I will come up with another new interesting topic. Till then, keep practicing. If you feel something I have missed or you wanted to know more something is, please leave a comment and subscribe my YouTube channel for more updates. If you like this video, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and press the bell icon button for the latest update. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.